Friday Football Fever is brought to you by Premier Pediatrics, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, Aviation Triad, and GTCC. Here's your hosts, Patrick Wright and Luke Liddon.
Well, hey folks, welcome to Friday Football Fever. We started the night with only 7 unbeaten Triad teams remaining.
But the real question is, how many would stay that way? Well, we'll find out by the end of the night.
Yeah, first up, our Premier Pediatrics game of the week, where Southern Alamance looked to stay undefeated. The Patriots hit the road for a matchup against the Southeast Guilford Falcons. 5-1 Southeast was looking for its 4th straight win. And the Patriots, well, they got off to a fast start. Josiah Hatfield is going to go up top deep to Tevin Yellick for a 32-yard gain, and that's going to set up Emmett Raggett from the 1-yard line for the Southern Alamance touchdown. It's 8-0 after a 2-point conversion. Then a big play for Southeast Guilford. Trey Caldwell in the Wildcat hands it off to Carson Burnett, who breaks the tackle, somehow stays on his feet. He's just going to take this one deep into enemy territory. And then why not let him cap off the drive? A few plays later, it's Burnett taking the handoff right up the middle. He's going to go 19 yards for the touchdown. It's 8-7 Southeast with the half winding down. And in the third quarter, the Falcons, well, they turned it on. Quarterback Ryan Douglas fakes it, gives the pump fake, then throws deep to Tyler Hoff for a 37-yard touchdown. Southeast Guilford wins this one 27-8.
One of the biggest rivalry matchups in the Triad went down tonight in Clemens, and I was there to check out all the action as West Forsyth played host to East Forsyth, and the home team making the fans very happy as West Forsyth was the first to get on the board in the first. Jalen Ferguson over to Trey Arch on the screen, and that move was like the flick of the right stick in Madden, right past his defender and into the end zone for the touchdown in the early 7-0 lead. But this game also consisted of a lot of defense. Second quarter, West driving until Torian Jackson gets into the backfield for the big sack, and eventually the Eagles would capitalize with their own screenplay. Ty Lyles over to Micah Crowell, and at first it looks like he'll be wrapped up, but he spins past just about every would-be defender, 40-plus yards for the touchdown. What a play that was to tie it up at 7 apiece. So nearing the end of the half, Lyles would actually scramble, toss this over to Crowell again, who would take this down to the 5-yard line. The Eagles would convert on the field goal, and they would go on to win a close battle, 16-10.
All right, let's take to the skies for our Aviation Triad Flight of the Night. And for this one, we highlight some of our Triad alums playing in North Carolina A&T. Former High Point Andrews quarterback Lamar Raynard, he aired it out and connected with Southern Guilford alum Ron Hunt and Eastern Alamance alum Malik Wilson for touchdowns in their win against South Carolina State. That's our Aviation Triad Flight of the Night.
Sorry to that time. We've reached the first media timeout of tonight's Fever, but we still have much more ahead coming your way. Eastern Randolph and Parkland look to remain perfect on the season, while Northern Guilford hope to extend their winning ways against Eastern Alamance. Highlights of these and many more coming up after this short break.
Yeah, and if you missed anything from tonight, no worries. We got you covered. Your high school football scores and highlights right at your fingertips on Facebook. Check out Triad High School Sports, and on Twitter, it's at WFNYHSS. Go give us a follow, and we'll be right back with more Friday Football Fever. Well, that right there is the sound of a Friday night at Southeast Guilford High School. Shout out to the Southeast Guilford Marching Band. They're our GTCC Band of the Week. And now we're off to Mebane for a matchup in the Mid-State 3A Conference. Northern Guilford put their 3-game winning streak on the line against Eastern Alamance. And that Northern Guilford defense, well, it showed up early. Check out Jackson Hughes. He's going to bring down Colby Max for the safety. That makes it 2-0 Northern Guilford. Then more from the Nighthawks. Jacob Leonard, he's going to hit Rakeem Murchison, who takes off for another touchdown. The Nighthawks are going to take the 9-0 lead, but then Eastern Alamance, well, they responded. Austin Bryant on the play action hits Trey Burnett in the end zone for the score. And then how about this later on, Bryant going to drop back, looking for a receiver, and finds a wide open Jaden Day. He lofts it into Day's hands, and Day does the rest of the work. He's going to go untouched all the way to the house. Eastern Alamance wins this one 40-36.
Eastern Randolph has opened 2018 with 7 straight wins. Really can't do much better than that. And tonight, Burton Cate's squad looked to make it 8 in a row against High Point Andrews, but it would not come easy. First quarter, Genoa McIver punting the ball away, but Zion Warner cannot handle it off the bounce. And Andrews recovers it at the 12-yard line. Turnovers will kill you. And it sure did in this instance as McIver connects with Isaiah Davis, who makes a leaping grab for the touchdown. They would convert on the 2-point conversion for the early 8-zip lead, but Eastern Randolph had their moments as well, including this one. Jordan Terrell ripping off a 21-yard run down to the Andrews 40-yard line, but on 3rd and long, not what you want to see. Cade Snutherly is sacked by Brandon Jowers, and it really was not looking too good for the squad at this point. Jump ahead to the second. Snutherly going deep downfield, but he's picked off by Davis, the same man that got the touchdown earlier. But somehow, Eastern Randolph are able to come back and win by a single point, 9-8.
Wow, 9-8. Well, the Parkland Mustangs were off to a 7-0 start in Winston-Salem. They tried to stay unbeaten on the road at Western Guilford. And the Mustangs, well, they didn't waste any time getting started tonight. Here's Jaquez Roseboro with the easy carry, walks into the end zone for a touchdown. That makes it 7-0 Parkland. Then it's Roseboro again on another handoff, scoring his 2nd touchdown of the quarter. Yes, of the quarter, folks. Over to Western Guilford. Hornets quarterback Cam Page, well, he's going to call his own number, tucks and runs, and turns this one into a very nice gain. But later on, Page is going to go to the air, but Caleb Bracely is there for the interception, and Parkland, well, they capitalize. Camion Shell, he's going to find Deuce Russell, and he's off to the races for another Parkland touchdown. They go on to win this one 48-7 on the road.
It was a big Greensboro rivalry tonight as Dudley made the trip over to Smith, but only one would be able to earn the bragging rights. Early on, the Golden Eagles defense stepping up as Joshua Neely makes the stop in the backfield, but Dudley would make a play of their own as Marlon Darby taking the handoff, gonna pick up a nice gain down the sidelines before he is eventually brought down. And then Darby, persistence pays off, gets the ball again and scores the touchdown right up the middle. Dudley started to build some momentum after that play because Milan Summers with the tackle for yet another loss, and then he made plays on the other side of the ball, getting the rock and in for the touchdown run as Dudley wins it a big way, 34-9.
Well, now let's draw up a play that takes us over to Kernersville for East Surry and Bishop McGuinness. Big matchup here. We'll start in the second quarter with East Surry, though already leading 49-0. But Bishop, well, they try to make something happen. Mac McCowney throws one up to Neil Engel for a 36-yard gain. But then with Bishop on the 8, McCowney's picked off by Landon Stevens. Impressive diving catch there. In the third quarter, Steven Gasnell, well, he's going to fumble, and this time it goes Bishop's way. Engel recovers, and he takes it the other way, 48 yards for the touchdown. But then here comes East Surry again. Gasnell passes to Kyler Jessup. He's going to turn that one into a 32-yard gain after the catch and run. They're down to the 12, and 2 plays later, Jefferson Boaz, he's going to score from 7 yards out. East Surry goes on to win big, 56-7.
We wrap up this block of games with the Davidson County matchup featuring Thomasville and North Davidson. And North Davidson was on one tonight because after a Thomasville fumble, Davidson's Maddox Johnson takes the pitch from a yard out and crosses the plane for the easy score. So we jump ahead to the second quarter. The Knights, Landon Moore, gonna find Kobe Brown. Kobe in the back of the end zone for the touchdown, but the points just kept pouring in because later Moore finds Brown yet again, this time though on a screen play, and this is going to pick up a huge chunk of yardage, 30+ yards in fact, setting them up in great scoring position because later we would see the simple pitch and catch as Moore connects with Jackson Perrell for yet another touchdown. North Davidson, you guessed it, they win 42-0.
Well, we've come to the final timeout of tonight's show. Still ahead, more scores and highlights, plus our Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina Drive of the Week. We'll be right back. Well, let's get back to tonight's action on the gridiron as Glen took on Reagan tonight. And Glen, well, they had their home crowd backing them in this one. And they tried to get something going early. Check out Glen's Jaden Sutton, though. He's trying to find Tyrell Allen. Reagan's Jamon Brown picks him off in the end zone. And then watch him work. Brown brings this one out of the end zone, and he shows off some impressive moves, gets down the sideline. Eventually, he would be brought down, though. And of course, the Reagan student section loving it. Toga night, apparently, on the road. In the second half, Glen, well, they're going to get into the end zone. Jamon Payne makes his way across the goal line for the score. And, you know, it was a back and forth game all night. But Glen holds on to win this one, 26-23.
Ragsdale took on Grimsley, looking to extend their winning streak to 4, but Grimsley seem to have their own plans. Chris Zealous airing this out downfield and connects with Rob Dalton on the touchdown. We got to look at it twice because it was oh so nice. As this score put the Whirlies up 21-0, Ragsdale would eventually respond. Trey Jackson calling his own number, crossing the plane for 6. Then Willie Brown would actually score later, as you're about to see as he crosses the plane right up the middle. But it still wouldn't be enough as Grimsley wins 34-21. It is time for our Blue Cross of North Carolina Drive of the Week, and it kicks off with Parkland's Camion Shell to Joseph Harrison for the big gain down the sidelines into Hornet territory. Then Shell gonna find Savion Hayes for the first down, continuing to move the chains. That's what this is all about, which was capped off by this touchdown run from Jaquez Roseboro. And that right there is this week's edition of the Blue Cross of North Carolina Drive of the Week. How about we take a look at some other scores from tonight's action. Mount Airy is now 8-0 after beating North Stokes in a big way, 62-0, while Moorhead gets a big win at home, beating McMichael 49-14.
And Northwest Guilford opens conference play with a W. The Vikings beat High Point Central 44-23, and Reedsville remains unbeaten. The Rams scored early and often. I'd say that's an understatement. It topped Carborough 70-0.
Whew, that's a lot of points. So we've got 5 big matchups in the running for next Friday's Premier Pediatrics Game of the Week, and you at home get to decide who wins. East Forsyth hosts Glen. Northeast Guilford travels to Moorhead. Reynolds heads to Reagan, and Northwest Guilford kicks off against Page, while North Davidson will take on Lexington. Just head to our sports section on WFMYnews2.com and be sure to cast your vote as voting ends Wednesday.
14,000 votes this week.
Not bad.
Looking for even more next week, y'all. We got some good games up there.
We're excited. We can't wait. Week 8's done in the books.
Can't believe it, man.
8 weeks, 2 months, just like that.
We'll see you next week for Week 9.
Week 9. We'll see you then. Have a good night.